I qualified Worlds for the second time this season, this very weekend, and so let's do a meta-analysis. Of course, for both Standard, V, and Premium. Also, a few weeks prior, I won this oversized Yu-Gi-Oh card, which is also fun, I guess. As always, if you still need Vanguard cards, you can go to 50cards.shop and use the code Solemn for a discount. There's a lot of awesome pre-orders going on right now. So, I didn't cover New York, and I might have missed some others as well, so I'll quickly go over those, but I think most people have seen these by now. So, in Standard, we had Messiah, first place, very interesting with Eva, Gandiva, and then Majesty Lord Blaster. I know this deck has been popping up like literally every time I cover it, and I still can't believe it. Like, it's okay, I guess, but it's not crazy. Then if we check top 8, we have 3 Gandiva, Minerva, Messiah, Eva, Majesty Lord, and Shoujo Doji. What the fuck? I'ma be real, I don't even know what Shoujo Doji does. Then for V Premium, we had first place Steam Maiden, still kicking ass, which is pretty wild to see. And then the more like reliable Tavas is right here, second and fourth. And then third place Highlander. Hey, one of my favorite decks. If we then check out the top 8 breakdown for New York V Premium, we have a 3 Aqua Force, which I think was the best pick for this event. Then we have 1 Luard, 1 Golds, 1 Steam, 1 Fenrir, pretty odd pick, and then a Highlander. I do think Highlander is not as crazy in V because you obviously don't have Heltrada, but I do think it's still pretty interesting. It's just that whenever you check top 10 and you're not finding Lara, Aneska, Anj, and maybe the Olivia, you kind of feel bad. Like, I guess Tirua can also be fine, but all the other targets are just kind of too okay, let's say, and you don't really have the push that Heltrada provides you. But I still really like it. Like, it's still a really cool deck. Then if we check out New York, the premium top 4, we have first place Stephen Lee with Bermuda Triangle. Broken player right here. This guy has been going crazy this season. More on that later. And we have second place Chaos, third place Chaos, and then fourth place we have the Willista deck out loop thing. Now I do still think this deck is toxic, but I do think this is like the first time it topped at all. Maybe that's done twice or so. But overall, like, a lot of people hype this thing up, but it bricks so often. You should also just rush the living fuck out of it. Like, if you meet this deck, just put your whole hand on the board. Of course, if you desperately need counterblast, you gotta think like, they will deny me, can I play without it, and so forth. But in general, like, this deck will die to itself more often than it will die to opponents, which is why it's a bit of a risky pick. But of course, so first place, the Highlander, Stephen Lee, Broken Players, and 2 Chaos. I think Chaos is a very risky pick, personally. It is like really good into Naru, it is good into Gradora, but let's be real, every deck is good into Gradora, except for Grand Blue. Like, most matchups you feel unfavored, and then some matchups you feel awfully favored, and then there's a couple matchups where you like auto win with Chaos. But then again, there's a lot of people who don't play super clean into Chaos, and then it does get those free wins. So I don't know, but still, I mean, it does get the results. It seems to be the second most stopping deck so far. But I do really think that if your Swiss rounds, you meet a lot of good players, it will normally do much worse than it has been so far. Unless, of course, those good players happen to be on a deck you counter, like Narukami or something. And then if we check out the top 8 breakdown, we have 3 Bermuda Triangle, 2 Link Joker, 1 Melista, 1 DP, 1 Naru, and 1 Gradora. So now this makes sense why these 2 Link Jokers went even further, because you annihilate Naru, you annihilate Gradora, it depends on the Melista player, but you can randomly annihilate Melista, and then we have the DP. I guess DP does beat Chaos. So it kind of, it's like very matchup dependent, and I would be very stressed with that. Like, imagine if you played into these like reindeer players here. I'd be stressing for sure. Now, we also had this Deluxe Cup for Premium in Tokyo, which I find very interesting. We know Japan doesn't get as many major Premium events. In terms of like play rate, I guess it's like Standard, and then Premium, and then V is like, where is V? Am I right? But so it's always interesting to see how they do. These results are so random. Like, Neo, alright, solid deck. I wouldn't say it's considered right now to be one of the top decks, but I do actually think it is easily in the top 5. It's just that not that many people are playing it. And of course, if you play in America, you meet a bunch of Gradora for some reason. And then this deck does, kind of suck ass. But if you go like 2-0 or maybe 3-0, all the Gradoras should be gone by then. And then you have a good time with this deck. Then we have Overlord. This deck, I don't understand, honestly. And then Angel Gize, I mean, this also did well in Austria, and I still don't understand how the fuck. Like, I don't get it. I don't think that this deck is particularly great. Like, yes, you can turbo into Gize really quickly, but there's so many decks that just destroy you without CB. And like, if your deck needs CB, but it has really big kill turns, you can just guard everything early, take your 5 damage, and then kill them with that 5 damage. That's something that not that many people cleanly seem to do. I mean, I know Gize has been gone for so long that a lot of people haven't even, had proper testing into the deck. But if you've been around long enough, you should know this, and most decks, not all, but most decks should have a pretty decent time. And then fourth, we have the bold deck. I mean, Grand Blue is Grand Blue. It's still solid, but like, I don't know, it's weird. If we then look at the top cut, look how diverse this shit is. But this is mostly, I think, because Japan just, their premium format isn't as developed. You know, they don't have as many opportunities to go to like a major event, get some testing in and so forth. Also, in general, there's like the language barrier, so they can't necessarily grab as much info from the West as the West from itself, let's say. But yeah, 3 Narukami in top 16. I do think this is like one of the solid decks. This is pretty normal. We have a Neo, Yup, Overlord. I don't know. Giza, I don't know. Bolt, I don't know. Gridora. If there's one thing you shouldn't be copying from the West, it's this deck. Then we have Willista. Were they playing Willista Loop? That's wild. Shiranui, pretty solid. Dieliner, pretty solid. Spikes, pretty solid. Ranging form, sometimes spooky, I will say. Chaos, alright. Jewel Knights and NLK. Overall, apart from honestly like these 3, none of these picks are particularly weird. But here I'm just like weird. But I do like the Bolt deck. The Bolt deck actually has a better Gridora matchup than the regular Grand Blue deck, which can be like a reason for picking it. Then Costa Rica right here. We have standard. We have 2 Minerva, 1 Millista. I said Millista. Willista, of course. Not Millista in standard. 1 Gandiva, 1 Overlord, 1 Chronojet, 1 Zorga, and 1, fuck, what's her name? Is it Michu? It's not Michu. I know it's with the Cannonball order thing. Played against this because of Outer Orange. Like, she was the playtest partner for this deck. So I know how it works, but it's been a while. I don't know the name anymore. But yeah, this, bit weird. I do think Minerva is really solid. I guess, like, this right half of the pie chart makes the most sense. These are definitely, like, the decks you should have prepped for the most for this event, I guess. These 2 in particular, but this is also really good. Overlord maybe less so. Chronojet still a top contender, was the best deck in Springfest. And Zorga, I love Zorga, but is it good enough? I don't know. Still a scary Rush. Is Rush good enough these days? Let me know in the comments down below. And if we then check out, of course, the way it converted, the Willista won, the Gandiva got second. The third is the Cannon Girl, whose name I forgot, but thank you, Outer Orange, for the testing. Fourth, we have the Minerva. But so yeah, if we looked at that top 8 breakdown, it makes sense that these 2 decks do end up coming out on top. They are definitely the 2 best decks, you know, for that event, in my opinion. Now, Sydney, this was this weekend, so now we're getting up-to-date information. Hehehe, I've been gone. I've been trying to win stuff in multiple games. I'm sorry. So we have Sydney BCS standards. We have 2 Willista, 2 Gandiva. Nothing too surprising here, right? We have our Messiah, Lutetia, Megalo... The Snake? Really? Did this get better? What did I miss? And finally, Greedon. I think, hot take, this Greedon thing has been slept on. I noticed the French players also brought it to the Netherlands in like droves, and they converted extremely well. And then Derek was on this, I think, also top. Like, this deck is pretty fucking crazy. Then we check out the top 4, and then we end up seeing Gandiva take it, then Lutetia second, Messiah third, and the Snake fourth. Really, the Snake? Is the Snake good? Let me know in the comments down below if you're a Snake enjoyer, what the hell is going on with this deck. Like, I don't know if this is good, honestly. Then if we check out a V Premium, we have 2 Aqua Force, best deck, 2 Narukami, but different kinds. Really? The auto win bullshit dragon? I mean, I dig the balls, or not balls, whatever you have, that brought you to bring this. I don't understand it, but good job. And then Vanquisher. Vanquisher is so good. It's so slept on in V. I was actually, because I first qualified for V Worlds, I was like, damn, now I gotta like properly learn V, you know? Because usually I enter V without too much testing. Now I'm like, fuck, I gotta learn all these like ins and outs, like the proper, he's starting his turn, you know, and it's a Vanquisher player, and I know the exact amount of guard that will normally be required this turn, depending on which extenders I've seen before. Like, that kind of knowledge I will now have to figure out. With Vanquisher, it's really hard because they have so many potential lines. Like, the ceiling on this deck is just stupid. And if they have the book, and they destroy you. So, really good deck, very slept on. And then we have the Jewel Knights, we have the Night Rose, we have the Ange, and we have the turn skip deck. Alright, but Ange and Night Rose, of course, like, have been mainstay staples for this format. Like, the only time that Ange was not a pick in V Premium the last years was because Prism was just the better Bermuda deck. But even there, people were playing Ange inside Prism, so you had more than 4 ride targets. I was doing that. I was terrified of riding a heal. So, yeah, Ange, solid stuff. And if we check out the first place, it was really the Big Balls Narukami deck won. Australia, what are you doing? But congratulations, John Garvan. I do really like the pick. You're Big Balls John now. What can I say? Then second place, we have the turn skip deck. We have Big Balls John versus Big Balls Jackie in the finals. And, well, one of the Big Balls players was gonna win, it seems. And then third place and fourth place, we have the Tavases, Renly, and Mark 1 in fourth place. Rippin' Pepperoni, no Worlds invite for the buddy Mark. I'm so sorry. But yeah, Tavas, I would say best deck, but look, I guess not. I guess it was the day for the big balls. Then if we check out Sydney, top 8 breakdown, we had 2 Eve. Yes, that's right, Eve, another cringe deck. 2 Narukami, different Narukamis though. Also, I can call it cringe because it was literally Derek and Mark, my friends on it. I can call them cringe for that. Sorry. we all play cringe decks sometimes. Then we had the Narukami, so Vanquisher, and then 1 sweep command. I'm going to assume that these 2 Naru players were on both Vank sweep and not pure variants, because technically these are in the same deck. So I'm assuming this is just a pie chart error. Also, shout out to Fuzzy Paradox, of course, for the pie charts as always. Like, he's the GOAT, always on top of these things, and go check him out on Twitter. You also see his little watermark here with the little bear. So yeah, there's also the website VG, little stripe, paradox.com for up-to-date tournament information and like rankings of who has the most tops and so forth. So it's very interesting to follow there. Then we have a Gradora, a Dieliner, a Shiranui, and a Susanoo. Honestly, I'm so terrified of Susanoo. Like, this deck, I think is risky to take to an event, because I don't think it's like insane. I think it's tier 2, you know, but it's not really up to you whether you win against it. I feel like you can play optimally into it, and sometimes they'll just go, oh, I got my Popo instant kill, bye. And it's like, okay, guess I'm going home. It's similar kind of to DP with Linka. Sometimes they're like, yeah, I got the instant kill, bye, and there you go, you're out of the tournament. So these 2 decks, DP and Susanoo, watch out for them. Personally, I'm not a fan of taking them to events, but I am scared, you know, to enter events with them running around. But then, of course, the Narus, you know, these are the mainstays. Most stopping deck in Premium this season for sure. And then we check out the top 4, and we notice first place, the Narukami, second place, the Shiranui, third place, another Narukami, and then fourth, Gridora. Yeah, Gridora losing to Naru, it's not really up to you, you know, like this Max Pay guy, girl might have been playing like a genius into Naru, but it doesn't matter because Gridora will just get ass blasted by Naru. Like 6 things need to go right for Gridora, and 5 things need to go wrong for Naru before this matchup ever flips. So, you know, GG, I guess. But yeah, Naru doing the best and converting the best from this top 8 makes quite a bit of sense. It is definitely, you know, one of the top decks right now. And then the Nubatama, also scary. Mizukaze is still a very cringe, toxic card. No offense, it's the most insane guard restrict in the game, I want to say. It's just in a deck that's beyond that, not that scary. So it's like, I got this guard restrict, that's all I got, but boy, is it a lot by itself. Then we have V Premium Malaysia, top 8. We have 4 Bermuda Triangle, but they are different Bermuda Triangle decks, as you will see. So we have 2 Anj, 2 Tavas, best deck, 1 Melody, 1 Highlander, love me some Highlander, 1 Luard, and 1 Spectral Duke. I mean, everything on this pie chart makes a lot of sense, except for the Spectral Duke. This would maybe be like more of a tier 2 deck rather than, while all the others, except for maybe Highlander belongs with Spectral Duke. They can hold hands in tier 2. It'll be fun. I think all the rest are make sense in tier 1, though Melody can sometimes be a little risky. Very solid decks. Anj is only going to get better with the new promo, of course. Then if we check out the actual top 4, first place Anj, second place Melody, spooky deck. Also keep in mind that with Anj, you can bounce all the Melody units, and that way they don't have those intercepts, so it makes sense that Ma ended up winning here. And third place we have Tavas, very solid deck, and fourth place we have the Anj, the other Anj, losing to Tavas. Does make sense because Tavas, I think, scales a bit better. Then we have Premium Malaysia, top 8. This spy chart is something. We have 3 Narukami, which makes a lot of sense. I think it's the deck of the format right now. You know, you had most stops from Naru so far, and then 2 Link Joker. This is the second most stopping deck, so this makes sense. We have 2 Bermuda, but they're different decks. One is Highlander, one is Melista. I guess if it's your day, it's your day, with your 8 grade 1s and your 4 grade 3s, and no reliable way to get them, and having to have the order. But when you do, woo, it's a spooky deck. And then 1 Revengers. Still Revengers. I should try this deck a little. I'm a big fan of Raging Form, but I don't know. It always feels like one of those tier 2 decks that shouldn't be that great, but I'll try it out. But yeah, everything here, like, I think this part of the circle makes sense, and this is like sometimes insane, and this is like the only thing that you're like, oh, okay, an off-meta pick right here. I'm gonna make a big call and say that the Highlander, if they face Chaos, that they won. We'll see right here. And oh, I guess Highlander died to some other deck because we have the Chaos in fourth place. So first place the Naru, second place the Melista, spooky, third place another Naru, and then fourth place the Chaos. So of course the Naru's converted very well. It is the deck of the format right now. Then Malaysia standard, we have 4 Minerva, 2 Willista, 1 Gandiva, 1 Zorga. So this whole part of the chart we should already, you know, be expecting by now, but also a Zorga. So that's 2 Zorgas, I think, in this episode of meta analysis. Solid deck. I mean, I guess I really like it though. I should max it out again. And then Ray, what are you doing? You won with Zorga. Ray is now my hero, my standard hero. So first place we have Zorga, second place Minerva, third place Minerva, and fourth place the Melissa. I did it again. I said Melissa again instead of Willista. Next we have BCS, the Netherlands standard. We have triple Greedon. So the French decided we are gonna test standard a lot and figured out Greedon is secretly one of the best decks right now. We have 2 Minerva, 1 Gandiva, 1 Melista. I said Melista again. We should have a counter. And then 1 Eva. So if we then go to the top, look at that! The Netherlands, baby! First place Cyril. Congratulations, Cyril, with Greedon. Second place Abel with Greedon. Third place Romain with Greedon. And then fourth place Gandiva. So the Greedons went crazy. Just France decided we're gonna go crazy with Greedon. And they did. Now, for top 8, the Netherlands Premium, we have 2 Link Joker. Makes sense, you know, second most topping deck so far, though I do still think it's quite a risk sometimes. 1 Naru, deck of the format. 1 Granblue. That's me. I was playing Granblue. Again, I was like, if I go 2-0, I can no longer meet Gradora. The European players will have just ass-fisted Gradora out of the venue by round 2. So, it's that simple, you know. You read Brilliant Blister, you read Malignantis, you know what they do. Gradora dies to almost everything at that point. So, I go like, okay, I'll go 2-0. Hopefully, I can dodge the Gradoras. Please, don't do a Sage. Don't do a Sage. If you don't know, Sage has brought Granblue to 2 major events now and met Gradora round 1. What are the odds bringing Granblue? So, like, don't do a Sage and then go 2-0. Cool. No more Gradora. We're safe now. So, yeah, that was the plan. Then we had 1 Susanoo. Very scary deck, like I said. 1 Steam Maiden. This was Dave Wicht, our current world champion. He decided I'm gonna play Gear Chronicle again. Fuck it. And there we go, top 8. Then 1 Neo Nectar. This was Louis. And 1 Riviere. This was a JJ with actual Riviere. Like, scary deck. Like, if it goes first and it hits its high roll, you know, GG die, I guess. And then we check out the top 4. We have first place Anthony, a very good player. Has topped a shit ton like the past years. Second place me, Rippin' Pepperoni. Where is my free trip? Honestly, this matchup is extremely Granblue favored, but I got stuck on grade 2. And then I rode a heel. I was stuck on a heel guard as my grade 3. And then after that, I had a 66% chance of checking my OT to win the game. And I didn't. I mean, it happens, you know. Overall, you know, usually this should be Granblue favored, but shit happens. It's still TCGs. But Anthony, amazing player, has been topping all over the place, you know, the past year. So I'm not going to be mad about this. Congratulations to him. We have third place, Maxime Chalon. So this was a Maxime top 3. We have 2 Maxime right here. With OTT, very scary deck. I versed that in the semi-finals. I tried to play around, you know, the weird Popo stuff with Beatrice. You can basically make it to where you ride Beatrice and then you kill your own Nightstorm and Cannoneer to have your chat the Ghosty in the front row at the end of the turn, and then you have big interceptors, but it turns out he played stuff to remove those interceptors. So GG, I guess. But I still ended up winning that because he didn't have the full setup and then I didn't die. And then fourth place, we have Matteo with Chaos. So 2 Chaos in top 4. Then we have Vancouver right here. So top 8, V Premium, 2 Granblue, 2 Aqua, 1 Bermuda, 1 Great Nature. Haven't seen that in a while, even though I think it's still pretty solid. 1 Gear and 1 Genesis. Nothing too surprising here. Genesis will randomly just destroy you if you didn't open your heal guards and they went first. And then even after that, sometimes they can just grind a little bit and then destroy you the next turn. So everything here is like solid decks. Then if we check out the top 4, we have first place Nitros, second place the Leopold, third place the Nitros, and fourth place the Tavas. So a lot of Granblue right here. Cool to see. This was the first weekend, but I think by now everyone has the promo basically, and with the promo, Nitros just gets way better. Nitros with the promo has more multi-attack. Prepare for some extra attacks on your ass with the Skull Dragons, and that is just very scary. Then if we check out Vancouver Premium, we have 3 Narukami, so you know, it's still the top deck right now. 1 Highlander, 1 DP, 1 Gurgit, 1 Overlord, and 1 Victor. Yeah. Then we have, oh, look at that, Stephen Lee once again winning with Victor. This guy is on fire. Yeah, then second place we have Highlander, and then third and fourth is the 2 Naru players right here. So yeah, I wasn't really testing much. I was playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! And then this week I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get back into the swing of things with some Vanguard. And I'm like, Steven, let's test a little. He boots up his Victor deck. I start clapping him. Get that Victor shit out of here. Clap that shit with Granblue. And he was like, oh man, should I bring this? I'm like, bro, you won't meet a Granblue player like me. You'll win. So then here we go, he won. So kidding aside, I mean, he's an insane player. He got second at Worlds as well last time. So insane player, has 3 wins already this season. Now won back-to-back, you know, both days of this weekend. So insane. Congratulations to Steven, of course. I think he now has the most wins in WCC. Spooky. I don't think it's easy to catch up there. And that is basically all the results I could find. So hope you found this interesting. Again, congratulations to everyone who topped, to everyone, of course, extra so much who got their Worlds invite. So far, I'm seeing a lot of insane names going to Worlds, so that's going to be very exciting in February. Got some months to prepare. I'll hopefully start in January or so, and hopefully I prepare enough. But I am excited, and so congrats to everyone. Hope you found this interesting. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.